Hello and welcome to this tutorial. So we'll do two parts in this tutorial, this screwdriver shaft really quickly. And then we will also do this screwdriver handle, and then we'll look at creating the assembly real quickly as well. So let's start with the shaft. So the origin should be down the middle, and it doesn't really matter whether it's at one end or the other. I think I'll probably make it at this end because this is where this other sketch is. So looking at this, it's a round shaft with a radius of 3. And then, so this is bad practice for drawings. You should always have your circular shafts to have a diameter, not a radius. So, and then we'll look at this feature. It looks like it's mirrored about this axis here, with a thickness of 1.5 at the very tip. A flat, it looks like, 5 millimeters from the end, and then it arcs up. We can assume that this arc is tangent to this line and goes until it hits that top part of the shaft at 15. So let's go ahead and get going on that. So start a new part, and we'll create the shaft right on the origin, 6 millimeters in diameter. Again, it's a radius on the drawing. So we'll flip it so that the action happens here, and the total length is 100. So that looks good. So I want to now cut off. So if we look back here, we want to be on that right plane to do this sketch. And we should always be going normal 2 in our sketches. So we'll start with that line, and if I bring my line, come back to that point, I get that arc. So now, if I select that edge of that circle, I can come up to my sketch and go convert entities, and then that line, and I can do that same for this vertical line. So now all I need to do is come in here and trim these guys off, and I have everything that I need. So if I add some dimensions in here, so actually first let's add a center line so I can get that dimension of the 1.5 in there, which is the total thickness. And then this is that 5, and then from there to there is the 15. So with this tangent and this horizontal, everything else makes that fully defined. So I don't actually need to know the dimension of that arc. So I'm just going to use that sketch to create a cut. And we'll do through both ways. And then because my planes are right through the center point there, I can just quickly use that plane. And if I control select, so now I have my feature and that top plane selected, I can quickly do a mirror, and it has everything where I need it. And there's our part. So that's the shaft. Don't forget to save. You should be saving it to what the drawing number is on your part. All right, so let's have a look at this handle, the screwdriver handle. So it looks like it's a round part with a diameter of 25. A bunch of different circular cuts around. So it looks like a single cut, and then we'll do a pattern for those 6 features. We also have a revolved cut. in this section. So this is a radius of 10 there at 22.1 from the end. And then we also have this hole to basically take the shaft, which is 6 millimeters by 10. So for this part, you could put the origin at this end, but again, if you have kind of another feature, so I'm going to put the origin right here, right in the middle of that hole. Okay, so let's get started on our handle. So we'll start out with let's do it on the front plane, where we'll draw just the general shape of our handle. So it's 25 millimeters in diameter. And we'll accept that, and then we'll just extrude it. And because I want the hole on this face, we'll extrude it the other way so that I can see the hole, and the whole length of that part is 100. So that's basically the handle in a nutshell. The top has a fillet, which I'm not going to do right away. I think the next thing that we'll do now is we'll sketch on this right plane. Go normal 2, and now we'll do that cut right here. So when you're doing cuts, you can just draw a circle. There's no reason that you have to actually cut that in half. So the radius is 10, so my diameter is 20. I can just kind of move it into place a bit. So now if we add a center line and dimension that center point, which is on the drawing. So the position horizontally here is 22.1, and then the vertical is 19.5. So that is a fully defined sketch that once we revolve, so we'll select that sketch and choose our revolved cut this time, and we'll get that going around 360. So this is going to be a cut because I'm in the cut. We click OK. So now that cut is in there. So you could have done this shape with just a single revolve and a complicated sketch, or just using these simple shapes. So we'll go on this face, and we'll start doing the outside. So again, another circle, and this one is, we'll do this first one vertically to the origin. So again, you could control select both your points and select that vertical, and that'll get you that point in there. So now let's add a couple dimensions. So again, the radius on that drawing is 5, so our diameter is 10. If you want to change from a diameter in your sketch here, you can do that, but just doing the math is also all right. So we'll get the second dimension in here, 15.5. So now we're fully defined. So now if we want to change this to a radius, you click on the dimension. So where you click, you want to click on more on the symbol. And then we go into this other, nope, it's liters. So in here, you can change from a diameter to a radius. So now we're good. So this is going to be just a straight cut right up that shaft. So we're going to choose, you always want to choose a through all if it's the entire length of the part. That way, if the length of the part changes, then this will also change as well. So now what we'll do is, typically we want to be patterning the actual feature, not a, don't be patterning in the sketch. It's just a bit neater to do that. So the feature is that cut, and then the axis of rotation, you can just choose any circular part around it. So there are actually 6 parts, 6 features around that part over the whole length. So that's actually starting to look like something. So looking at this and realizing that we have a fillet on the top, I actually want to go back before I make those cuts and add that fillet initially. So you can quickly do that by dragging the bar there, drag that up, and now I can put in the fillet before that feature. So clicking the fillet and that edge, that fillet is an 8 radius, and click OK. So that's my part. I then drag this down, make that one cut, and you see, because I did through all, and because that sketch is on this surface, no problems, and then the pattern as well. So the last feature is this hole. So go ahead, we'll choose Hole Wizard, and we'll just do a hole. So we'll choose metric, that looks good. We'll do a dowel hole of 6, and our depth is 10. Okay, so go ahead and click the position that right there, and that's what you're, just click once. Every time you click now, you get an extra hole, and there's that hole. So the bottom of the hole being tapered, not really a problem. It's inside this thing and doesn't really matter. So go ahead and save that, and we'll quickly make an assembly of these 2 parts. So I think the part that I want to be the fixed base part will be the handle. So we'll bring that one in. Then we want to insert a component and bring that shaft in. So we'll look at how to connect these. So control select both those surfaces. You can go up to mate, and it knows that it wants to be concentric, which is good. We will not choose the lock rotation for this one because we'll actually mate the planes. So the next feature, we'll choose this edge since it's not a flat bottom hole, and then we'll choose this face and mate those together. So again, those are coincident. And then the last thing I want to do, I want to prevent the rotation of this. I actually want to mate it to, you can either mate it to the assembly planes or to the part plane. So we'll pick the top assembly plane, and then we'll choose the top plane of our shaft as well, and click OK. So now we have our fully fixed and fully defined assembly. This one's fixed and this one doesn't have the minus. So there's your screwdriver. Thanks.